Hi, everyone. This meeting is being recorded, this workshop. So come on in and get yourself settled. We'll give people a chance to do just that, and then I'll get started. Hi. We have a little Kumihimo person. All right. Cute. Hope everyone's enjoying today. People from all over, cool. Yeah, just another minute or two. Nice cats. I'm looking at people's pictures. Oh. Hi, come on in. We're giving people a chance to come in, get settled, and then I'll get started. Hi, Bryn.
Yeah.
Texas. There's
Alaska,
a few people.
Virginia.
Yeah, a few people. Who was that? Laura, who was here in my first class. Yeah, I'll remind you, Laura, to talk about the flexibility and the stiffness of your braid. At the end of this, we'll do a question and answer, and I'll be able to get more into that once we're finished going through the tutorial. So there's still people coming in. Wow. So you'll see at the beginning of the chat that my partner in crime at the Beadsmith, who is also Leslie Pope, is our senior designer, and we work together as Team Leslie for the Beadsmith. She's posted a link for where you'll be able to see this recorded workshop on the Michaels site. And there will also be the PDF link should be posted in the chat eventually too. So, all right.
I just posted it.
There you go. That's why we work so well as a team. All right, so I'm going to get started. I am Leslie Rogoski, and I'm the creative director for the Beadsmith. Again, I'm here with senior designer Leslie Pope. Together, we are Team Leslie for the Beadsmith creative department. Here she is. It's cold here, so she's got her gloves on. So this is actually the second Kumihimo workshop that I have done for Michaels. And we're going to take things a step further than just a basic braid by adding beads to some of the chords. But I will be going through everything as if you had never done this before. So this workshop is based on the kit that you get at Michaels, and in the kit comes in this box. You will get your Kumihimo disc, which is a lightweight foam disc. You'll get 8 bobbins. You can see I've already curled up my cord to keep it nice and tidy. You'll get a little tube of this fabulous Zap jewelry glue that's kind of thick so it doesn't get all runny when you have to glue the ends. And you also get a little pack of the Kumihimo accessories, the endings that go on the ends. So let's see. You also need for this project a couple pairs of tools. I like to use a nice wire snip to cut the end of my glued braid, which is kind of stiff, and this is just a nice sturdy all-purpose wire cutter. And then 2 pairs of pliers, any pliers. I have a chain nose and a bent nose, and you use these to work the jump rings to attach your clasp to the endings. You'll also need a scissors to cut the cords before they're glued, and a spool of fireline with a scissors or thread zap, which we're going to use to bind off the end of the braid when we take it off of our loom. So let's see. Kumihimo, Japanese for gathering threads. So I'm going to switch over so you can see my work area now, and I'll come back and smile at you towards the end. So let's do this. There we go. And if Felicia could make that full screen, that would be awesome.
I actually don't have access to that.
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can do that.
It's pretty,
Is it on there okay?
yeah, it's pretty
It's full
full.
for us.
Okay, good. All right. I like to bring it up just so I can see what I'm doing. Here we go. How about that? Now I can see it. Okay. So we'll get the box out of the way. Oh, another thing that I have on here, because we're working with the beads, is a tube of size 6 seed beads. The Kumihimo kit has cords in different gauges, and you want beads that are going to fit actually over the cords. So I'm using from a line called Dazzle-It. This is the tutorial that you'll get. It has step-by-step pictures, and I'm going to refer to it to make sure that the way I'm teaching you today is going to follow the tutorial that you're going to be doing on your own. So the Kumihimo kit from the Beadsmith comes with pre-cut cords, but in the instructions, it does tell you that how to measure. So just for future measuring, you're going to have 8 cords. You can see I have 8 cords positioned on my disc. And each of those 8 cords should be 3 times the length that you want your finished braid to be. So if you want a 20-inch braid, you're going to have 8 60-inch cords. It's a, you know, I can even do that math. You do need excess for the cords to hang over so that you can manipulate your braid. But the kit itself that has pre-cut cords, and there's 4 cords that you will fold over to find the center. So here's the 4 cords. And I've just made an overhand knot. The knot goes down into the center of your disc like this. And I'm going to show you how to set up the cords in the little notches that are around your disc to form the spiral pattern that I've designed for you to use these different colors. So we're going to start. When you work with Kumihimo, to follow a pattern, you look at diagrams that look like this. It's the circle that represents the disc, and then you have cords running at, I'm going to say 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock, or northeast, southwest, you can refer to it. And your diagrams will show you where to position the different cords that you're using. So for this pattern, we're going to take, first, let's talk about the disc first. Can you see how there's numbers around here? We're not going to pay too much attention to the numbers, but you're always going to be holding the disc oriented like this, with it straight across from you. And we're going to be turning it as we move the cords. So for this braid, we're going to take one of the light gray cords and put it to the right of the number 32. And then we're going to take one of the gold cords and put it to the left of 32. So again, if you're looking at this pattern, you can see gray, gold, dark gray, black, dark gray, gold, light gray, black. So you will follow that pattern. You can see that I have just a little bit of my knot underneath and I'm holding it with my fingers, but you can also put a little bulldog clip on it like this, which gives you something more to hold on to. I have pretty small hands and I'm really able to manipulate and reach across this disc. So you guys, maybe our little Kumihimo person, it might be a little big for you, but I bet you could still do it because it's very lightweight. So to finish setting up, we're going to put our cords according to the diagram. And it doesn't matter really how they're coming out of the knot because most of the very beginning of this is going to be hidden inside your finding, your end cap. So I'm going to put the black one over there and another light gray one over directly to 3 o'clock. Then I have a gold cord coming down to 6 o'clock. To the right of it. Here we go. Like that, and just keep popping that back in. And a gray cord. And a black cord below the dot, the number 24, and then the other cord. So I'm just going to switch this around so it's not quite as tangled. There we go. So this is the setup that matches the diagram on the tutorial. Now the basics for Kumihimo, it's a very systematic, repetitive thing that you're going to do the way you move these cords around. And the mantra to remember is down to the right, up to the left. My good friend Jill Wiseman says, you want to remember that Kumihimo is downright uplifting or downright uplifting, as the case may be. So that means you take the cord that's on your right and bring it down to the right of the cords that are at the bottom. Then you take the left cord and bring it up to the left, quarter turn. Down, right, up, left, quarter turn. Down, right. Now I'm going to leave this here because here's a really big tip. It's very hard when you're a beginner especially, and even for someone who's done this a lot of times, to remember where you left off if you have to put this down. And if you're trying to figure out which is the next chord to go down right, I can't tell you how many times I've had to undo a few inches of braid because I just couldn't remember. So when you are working, always remember to leave a cord in the down right position if you have to pause, you want to go get a cup of coffee or answer the phone or something. And then no matter how you pick it up, you will always know that the next move is up left, like this. Quarter turn, down to the right, up to the left, quarter turn, down to the right. Now I am holding underneath it with my fingers, kind of pulling on this a little bit, but you don't want to pull your braid too far down into the hole because it'll mess up the consistency of what your braid looks like. You want to always make sure, let's see if I can show you this, that surface that's being knotted is kind of right at the top of the disc. You can see that it's not really sticking down into the hole and it's not up too far. So how's everybody with that so far? Pretty clear? Good. All right, I'm going to switch to my other disc where, can you see I left it in the down position? I've what I've done before I started to braid, because these are long cords, is I've rolled the ends up into these nifty little bobbins that we have here. They just snap open like this, and you're just gonna roll your cord around it, leave, 6 to 8 inches from where it hangs over the disc, and you pop them closed. They're real soft plastic. They're kind of fun. Another thing we do for this before we roll everything up is this project uses beads only on 2 of the thinner cords, in this case, the gold one. And you pre-string the beads on your cord. I just have a few here. A tip is to take clear nail polish and stiffen up the end of your cord to help get it to be easier. Here, I'll show you. To get it to be easier to string through your beads. So it's just like the last inch, and if you need to, you can snip the end. But you're going to just string the beads literally by hand, one by one. You can't really fold this up to go through a needle or anything like that. So you're going to do that and string the beads. You can add beads if you have to. So string however many beads you think you might need. And then I just hold on to one end and gently wrap the cord around and around and around with the beads on it until I have about 8 inches or so of cord, and then I top that up. Okay. So I'm going to bring my left cord up because I have the down right here. So I know that my next move is left up, and I have just a little bit of braid coming out the bottom. Now for this project, you're going to actually have more braid on, just plain braid done, than I show. Can you see I have about 8 inches of braid without any beads on it before I start to bring the beads up to add this great texture. So I have about an 18-inch braid altogether. So I've just divided up into 6, 6, and 6 inches, however much you want. Depends on how many beads you have too. And all of this is in the tutorial. So you shouldn't feel, I meant to mention this earlier, sorry. You shouldn't feel that you're trying to, don't try to follow with me right now. Just watch and absorb, write down questions because I'll answer them at the end. And then you'll be able to go through the video later at the Michael site, and you'll have the tutorial downloaded and printed out, and you'll be able to refresh your memory that way. So I'm going to bring my left up, turn. I'm working my way around to get back to where I first bring the bead up, right? And that's here, the gold one, which is the down right. So what you're going to do is get your cord out of its notch and just push or drop. Actually, you would be dropping the bead down. It just slides right down the cord. And you're going to make sure, you can see that little gold bead? You're going to make sure that it's under the cord that's coming across. Every time you bring a bead down, you want it to go down into that hole up to the braid. And then you're just going to complete your stitch down to the right. Don't pull too hard or you'll pop that bead out of position. Now up to the left is another gold. Here's my cord. Here's my bead. All right, drop it down. I lost you. Here it is on my thumb. It's going to go. We're going to be bringing this up to the left. So you're going to drop the bead under that gray cord. Make sure it's down in that hole. You can see it right there. Don't pull too tight. Bring the cord up to the left, quarter turn. These don't have beads, so it goes faster. Down to the right, up to the left, quarter turn, and you see how I'm always holding my disc like this? Straight down to the right. The bobbins do sort of like to dance, so quarter turn. I'm going to work my way around, down to the right, up to the left, quarter turn. Now I'm ready to bring another bead in. I'm going to release my cord and drop a bead down. Here it is right there. You see that? Make sure it's under the gray cord. Complete your down to the right stitch. Now you're going to do your up to the left. Release your cord from the notch. Let the bead slide down under that cord that's crossing over sideways. Complete your up to the left stitch, quarter turn. Down to the right. I'm going to leave it like this. So let's see if you can see that the beads sit on the outside of the braid as you do this. How's that going so far? Do we have any questions? Something not clear? I'm just going to keep doing this to show you. This is the very basic Kumihimo process. So see, I have my down to the right, so I know that I keep this up to the left is my next move.
So Leslie, we did have someone who says the instructions she has seen says start with the left as opposed to the right. But I told her it doesn't really matter which one, as long as you do it all in the same, do everything the same and turn your disc in the same direction.
That's
correct?
Absolutely correct.
Okay.
I happen to like the mnemonic, the memory reminder of down, right, uplifting. I think that's really easy to remember, so that especially when you're first getting started, you know that you're always going to be working down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left. And you're always going to be turning your disc either counterclockwise or clockwise. That doesn't matter either. It just has to always be the same within a same piece. So down to the right, up to the left, quarter turn. Down to the right, up to the left, quarter turn. Down to the right, up to the left, quarter turn. I'm ready for another bead. So I'm going to release that bright cord and let a bead fall down right there. Make sure it's tucked under the cord going to the side, and I'm going to complete my down to the right. Now up to the left, release your cord from the little notch, bring a bead down. These slide nice on these satin cords. Push it down in there, make sure that it's under this cross cord, and complete your left stitch, quarter turn, bring it down to the right so I know where I am to pick up next time. So there's a lot more beads that you can see coming out, which will eventually get that in focus. There we go. So by putting your beads on specific cords like this, it actually is forming a spiral. I did not have a lot of beads, so putting them just on the gold cords worked. Also, these beads didn't have holes big enough to fit over the other cords, the gray cords. There are wonderful Kumihimo patterns that are beaded on every cord, and that's really the beauty of those. It's a very basic cord, and by stringing beads in a certain order, if anybody does bead crochet with patterns, it's the same thing. You can pre-string it, which, by the way, also makes this a great portable craft to bring with you. So you're going to continue to do a plain braid as the tutorial instructs for about 6 inches. And then you're going to start beading for about 6 inches. And then you're going to stop bringing beads up, and you're going to finish your cord with another 6 inches. So I'd like to move on right now to show you how to finish up the ends.
Can we ask a quick question here, Leslie?
Absolutely.
Okay, Jana wants to know if you use thinner cords, will it have a more relaxed hand?
That's a tension question. So how tight your braid is has to do with how tightly you're pulling the cords into the braid. The size of the gauge of the cord is not going to make your braid more relaxed. It's all about your tension. There was another question? Okay. Kumihimo, by the way, can be done with just about any gauge. I've used, you know, pretty hefty things. I've worked with wire, which is a challenge in itself. In this case, because I'm working specifically with the Beadsmith kit, it comes with these cords. So I designed things to use the things that are in the kit. For those of you that are just starting out, you can absolutely be a beginner and work with beads in your, which don't come in your kit. You have to add them. But as you work with the beads, you can see that once you run out of beads and you need more, all you have to do is unroll it from the bobbin, string a few more. You can't overstring beads on here. You'll just stop using them when you need to use them and continue with a plain braid. So that's pretty basic to do. But do remember to use clear nail polish and let it dry before you start stringing. It really does help because the satin cord will eventually, as you start to string it through the beads, start to fray, and it'll be kind of a pain to try to get them through
Okay,
the little hole of the size 6 beads.
I missed a question, Leslie.
Okay.
Okay, so Stacy wants to know how far down do you place your beads when you begin? Isn't that sort of your preference? But I'll let you answer that.
Placing them down, I don't understand, on the cord.
Well, after you start your braid, when do you start adding beads? I
Well,
think
for
that's what
this
she
kit,
says.
you braid with a plain braid for 6 inches without bringing beads down. You can have your beads strong, but don't bring them down until you have about this much of a braid sticking out, like 6 inches. And as you start to get close to that, you can measure it to make sure. So that's on this, but it really is up to you. You can add beads. You can do 2 or 3 inches of braid and then add 2 or 3 inches of beads, and then 2 or 3 inches of braid and 2 or 3 inches of bead. So you would have, that would look really cool. You would have just like sections of beads going around your rope. So it's up to you as the artist and the designer where you put your beads. So that answer your question, Stacy? I hope so. Okay. All right, so when you're finished your entire necklace, you are going to take 2 of the cords and you're going to make a half hitch knot, which is a knot that you tie. The first thing you do when you're going to tie your shoe, you're going to do this, just like that. It will keep the braid from unraveling when you take this off your disc. So I've taken it off the disc, and you're going to remove the bobbins if there's any room left, and you're going to make an overhand knot to keep the braid from unraveling like this. This is just a little short demo, you guys, so you can tell. You're going to bring your overhand knot up just to hold the braid like this, and you'll probably only have a few little ends. Where's my other little piece? Like this. So it'll probably look like this. This is a little sample braid I did just using the gold and black cords and making a short one. So you can see there's not an overhand knot here anymore, but your ends are going to be rough. So we need to finish them now. So what you're going to do is take the overhand, before you take the overhand knot on, you're going to take fireline or thread and you're going to wrap it tight, tight, tight around the loose cords at the end, very close to your braid, and tie a nice knot, double half hitch, a square knot, and it'll look like that. Then you're going to take your pliers, your wire snips, and you're going to snip the ends, leaving about 1/4 inch of raw cord above where you've wrapped the fireline. You're going to put glue all around that thread and let it dry. And the end's going to look like this. So it's just a raw end. You can see the fireline wrapped around it. And I've snipped my ends. And this is hard now because I've put the glue on and let it dry. And really let it dry. It's very sticky otherwise. Now the end of your braid is ready to be squashed into your end cap, but you're going to stick a little glue in there first. And if you have to, there you go. And you're going to stick a little glue in there and shove your braid in, twist it in so that the end will look like this. And you're going to let that dry. And you're going to repeat the same thing at the other end. You're going to tie fireline between the overhand knot and your braid. And you're going to just take about a 10-inch piece of the thread, wrap it around and around and around real tight. So it's going to be like that. You can see the black fireline. Then you can trim your ends to about 1/4 inch, put glue on it, let it dry. You can also, if you find that you're having trouble getting it to fit into the end cap, after it's dry, take your wire snips and trim it a little bit. You kind of trim it, like miter the end of it to make sure.
Leslie, you need to move a little slower. People are losing the focus.
Okay,
when you're
sorry
trying to
about that.
yeah.
I'm just so excited about Kumihimo, you guys. So the thing to remember is after you've tied it off, and you're going to put glue on it and let it dry. If you need to trim it to fit into, you're going to try to fit it into your end cone. And if it's still a little bulky, you're going to be able to take your wire snip and trim the edge, kind of miter it a little bit so that it'll fit into the end cone. Now, you should have really saturated the fireline and the cords so it's not going to come undone when you snip at it. Then you're going to put a little bit of glue inside the end cone, push it on, and let them dry. Now you can see the end cones have nice little loops on the end, and your Kumi accessories kit has jump rings and a toggle clasp. So you will use your pliers to attach a toggle with the jump rings to the end. If you want your braid to be a little long, if you want your necklace to be longer than the braid allows you, add some chain before you add your clasp to lengthen it. You can also, if you know how to string and crimp on wire, you can add extra beads to lengthen your necklace. But that's basically it. And again, the instructions that you'll get are very clear. You can see I've got photos for you with the down right, up left. Shows you when to bring the beads down, just like I showed you. And talks about how to glue in your finding and how to end it all. And at the very end of your tutorial are all the other workshops for Beadsmith that you'll be able to take. There was a Kumihimo previously to this that actually used, that comes in here too. There's a little slider that you can add a pendant. If you're not adding braids or in between the beads, you can add your, where are you? You can add a pendant to it. Here it is. So here's a braid I did in my first workshop. It's the same spiral pattern, but no beads are added. But I did get a center line pendant and bead it with delica beads, which you find both of these at Michael's. And you can see this cool little slider component that comes in your accessories kit. So your necklace can just be a braid with a pendant. Now, I'm looking at this braid, which is kind of stiff. So I wanted to get back to the question about stiffness. That's entirely dependent on how tightly you're pulling the cords in the center of the disc. You want it to have some body, but you can keep it consistent throughout at any tension that works for you, as long as you're pulling it the same tension. Different cords will be more supple. Even the soft satin cord does have some body to it. So it kind of has a somewhat of a stiffness to it. But it's a nice substantial rope. You could actually hang a really pretty gemstone pendant or something from here, and it's nice and strong. The glue is totally strong in the findings. So that is Kumihimo with beads. Any other questions about that?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Nope. But you're a great teacher.
Thank you so much. And I want to, on behalf of Beadsmith and Michael's, I want to thank you for joining us here. Let me come back to see you. There we go. Hello. I wanted to tell you that my next workshop is on the 10th of February. This time it's going to be a macrame workshop. So I'm going to show you how great a tool the mini macrame board is. And we're going to use leather and beads and some wax cord to make these stackable bracelets with adjustable macrame closures. So that's on the 10th. You can find that information. That's macrame 101, I think. My first macrame class. Yes, macrame 101 on February 10th. I hope you had fun. Again, on behalf of the Beadsmith and Michael's, thanks so much for joining my class. Make sure to check out that workshop coming up and the other workshops I've done with some other really great tools from the Beadsmith that are already up on the Beadsmith, on the Michael's website. So everybody keep staying safe. I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying your day. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.